My name is Dr. Grumbo Norguffin. I am every shadow puppet. I eat wasps and sick up nightmares on the carpet. At least this is the backstory I choose to assume. How would I really know? All I do know is that every day I wake up in some naughty laboratory with meanie heads that strap my meat vessel to a metal bed colder than rich penguin bum toots and put new holes in me until I want to die. But the joke's on them. I've been dead inside since I first realized there are still people not subscribed to the glorious teachings of the Moon Wizard. Subscribe. This is Dying Light, the Beast. Another day passes and I wake up to masked men fiddling with my wrist metals. Some guys sneak in like rascals and cuddle them. They free me, then get beaten up by electric sticks, so what was the point? I just go to sleep again. If I could, I would slowly kill the villain behind my torment, because I have intense anger issues and never learn how to regulate my emotions in a healthy way. This is why I stepped on that beetle. Some guy stabs me with rainbows and I get really alpha angry and start screaming about admiring other men in a masculine sort of a way, and rip the lips off of any man that accuses me of not liking women so I can kiss them in the dark to teach them a lesson. I am the alpha. They inject their liquids into the mystery body and he freaks out and gets all murdery. I break out and fall asleep without a pillow. I crawl to the nearby dead body and take his radio without asking, listening to the haunting screams in the distance.
Who is this?
My name's Olivia, but you need to go. Now, while they're still distracted by that monster that broke free.
I grab a light and crawl towards the closest vent. I look down through the gaps as I crawl through and see nobody is having a fun time, and their blood has fallen out. I can't walk. I still hear screaming. What kind of Easter is this? I knocked over a table and then injected myself with mystery liquid. Then I grew legs, which means I can suddenly walk now. Yay! Legs. I steal a t-shirt because it was cold and my nipples might fire torpedoes or leak the juice of a grapefruit. I then go through a door and beat up some old man until his skin falls off. Then I blind some other people who want to ask me about the bus timetables with my blue light and I beat them up. I sneak through a room with a whole bunch of them furiously looking for Easter eggs in the body of people which didn't even look consensual. I cautiously step through an angry zoo and mock the animals with dancing and showing them my shoes. I go to a broken elevator at the end of the hallway. The only way to fix it was for the woman in my head to open all the doors so all the angry animals could come at me and try my taste. Cornered like a scared animal, I had no choice but to endure the relentless assault of this bloodthirsty horde of nasty people. It was not looking good until I turned extra angry and started ripping their arms off and growling a lot and turning them into ragu and tearing their heads off. The elevator worked fine after that. It was powered by blood and bones, which would explain the sticky buttons. Until it didn't, and I had to climb up the rest of the way and the doors started closing, and I had to do that run where I escaped before they locked me in. Thankfully all the doors closed at different timings, which made it very easy, now that I had legs. I'd go outside and burn my eyes with the fireball of the sky. The woman asks me if I made it and asks me what I see. I said trees and mountains and an angry leprechaun called Philip who wanted the fires to start. She said to go down the hill and find a monastery. I ran down and beat up some guy because I'm not very sociable. His face looked like popcorn and red after the beatings. Look at that view though. Wow. I picked up a shovel. I entered the monastery and cleared it of infected. Then I turned the lights on at the top of the tower. I met Olivia, who was the voice in my ears, who said that I was in no condition to go and get my revenge, because Evil Man had an army. She said she'd help me if I help her escape this place. She said I needed my strength back, and can get some big kind of muscle goo from Chimera creatures nearby. That was probably one of them. A big guy bursts through the perfectly functional door and made me engage in a little scuffle. My strategy was simple. First, mockery. So I did a little kick in the bum. Then he got upset and started hitting me, and did a roar which made zombies climb out of the leaves. I also got upset and did the beast mode and started hitting him really hard. This went on until I eventually just sort of ended his life and made a medal out of his toes. The metal smelled. Olivia watched me have a sugar crash, then rushed to inject me with fat zombie goo. I had nightmares of evil experiments and people not liking this video. I woke up choking Olivia, but didn't tell her that I'd actually been awake for a while, and just found her annoying. She said each Chimera had a different form of goo-goo, so if I caught them all, I could enter the Pokemon League and beat up a man with a cape and some woman who talks to ghosts.
Let's just focus on finding allies.
Are you feeling well enough for that?
I'm gonna have to be.
I didn't like the idea of friendship, but I was open to learning. At first, I spent my zombie goo unlocking a new power where I smashed the ground loudly like a toddler who didn't understand why the fire engine does Nino. Hooray!
So this is what I am now? Half human, half monster?
This is what you need to do.
I asked Olivia more about the Baron, the poo-poo man who was the antagonist. She said I wasn't alone and that he just really liked to kidnap people.
There's a small town not far from here. There might be some survivors there.
I did the most important thing I could do in the moment, and I unlocked the ability to drop kick. Then I went outside and did fighting and drop kicking. I kicked and ripped off heads like a regular birthday party. Happy birthday to... Give me your head! I had a very weird childhood. My ears picked up the sound of a distress call. I ran to find the source, but stumbled into lots of zomps. This is what I call zombies now. I ducked into a nearby shop to escape the zomps, but it had a big, mean-looking zomb in a straitjacket. I hurled a bang box at them to annoy them, and he screamed at me, which really hurt. What a dick. When I went outside to escape the scream, some really fast zomps attacked me, but they're dead now. Again. Dead, but better dead. Eventually, I make it to the town hall and see the issue. Zombies, I mean zomps. I do a good distraction on them and then jump over the gate and inside. I find a shooty bang bang on the ground and killed more evil. A big Chimera man broke a window, so I did fighting with him with fire and drop kicks and anger. Obviously, I win. Then I steal his goo and get better at being angry. I knock on a door and demand the people inside open it for me.
I want you to open the damn door! Geez, not too trusting, are we?
Which is why we're still alive.
They said their lights didn't work and that their sheriff set out to restore the power up the tower, so now I'm gonna go find her, because video game characters are generally more useless than a poo on a swing set. I used my new beast power to learn how to pick up rocks and f*** up scissors. I began climbing up the tower to see a zomp fall carelessly. I humiliated him further with a drop kick and booty stomps. A little higher, I saw a man who had been bitten. He gave me ammunition. This is because he was going to die soon. Oh no. I climbed up top to see the sheriff fighting for her life. A talkie talk happened. She wanted the backup power on, but it was raining now, so what about getting a cold?
Just promise not to shoot me.
I went down and angrily thumped on the buttons. Why not just push them? I don't know. It didn't work anyway, so I had to drag a cable up to the clock tower. I did it, but in a much more awkward way than needed. We all went back and had a chin wag. The guy that was bitten earlier came back and was all like,
"Sorry, Sheriff."
Then he shot himself in the head. He got his mess all over the carpet. What a dick. I was all like, but he can be cured. And they were like, nah. They were worried about the big beast, and I was all like, but it's dead, I killed it. Did you see it? It was huge. It's dead, I killed it. But then they were like, no, you didn't. There's another one. Of course there is.
Sure, just blow your head off. You're not going to be the one doing the cleaning, right?
I watched a guy complain about cleaning the brains from the carpet. I understand, my brother.
Spare me.
I understand. My brain unlocked the ability to mod weapons, so I gave my machete some venom. Not the really good Spider-Man one. The disappointing one where Tom Hardy hides in a fridge out of embarrassment.
How many more can we lose before there's not enough of us to fight back?
I'm sorry.
I watched people have an emotional conversation as I did wobble hands over them. Then I went to see some guy in a chair which was too short for him. I thought about telling him how to adjust the chair, but instead he started talking at me about the monster.
It attacked them viciously and moved so quickly. I was wondering if you would be willing to hunt it down.
I'm sorry, what the fucking shit?
The sheriff last saw it running across the rooftops. You can probably pick up its trail there.
Oh, fine. It'll never get done otherwise. But first I spent 20 minutes running around trying to get out of the building. When I got outside, it was really dark. I began tracking the creature and got screamed at in the distance by a monster being all monster-like. Olivia mouthed into my ears about if I see a volatile like this, I should not fight it. I should run. I followed the trail through buildings and across rooftops until an explosion happened. I arrived and saw lots of fire. I dispatched some zomps and rummaged a man who was in 2 parts and revealed a walkie-talkie that said,
"We're holed up in the church. It's trying to break in."
Essentially, the big anger monster was trying to get at them in the nearby church, but maybe it really just wanted Jesus or something. That shit never picks up his phone. I ran into some volatiles and they chased me. It was like kiss chase, but they were enthusiastic kisses and would keep going until my face was off. In a word, this was ba-boo-ba-dee-boo-boo, which was my made-up word. Another word would be terrifying. I barely managed to make it to the church. When I'm inside, I sneak through a room of sleeping zombies and the screaming straitjacket guy from earlier. I would have got him through stealthily, but I got stuck on some wood and the guy started screaming again. Bullets shut him up. Then I realized where I was. I was to perform for my adoring fans in the concert of the century. I gave it all I had, because they were rotting and nobody was going to be inviting them outside at any point, because they smell and can't stop eating people. Did you ever know that you're my hero? Yeah, your face is falling off. Weird. Stay away from the milk. I climbed up on some ladder just in time to see a guy have the nerve to ask me for a favor. Help me! But it's hard to help a man without a head. The creature jumped out of the window and I got attacked by a running group of my fans with a backstage pass. They're dead now. I don't treat all my fans like this, just don't touch me. I climbed out of the church and into daylight. Thank the moon wizard. Nighttime sucks. I hate it. I keep walking into holes and my ankles hurt. I got another urgent message from the people saying the beast had followed them into the tunnel. So I ran that way but stopped off in an apartment first for some supplies and to remove some heads. I even broke into a bathroom with lockpicking and made this guy's eyeballs swing around in the air before making him eat my dirty foot. Filthy little sexy animal. Running through the streets, I stopped as I met some normal people standing under a hanging dead person. They came at me with the aggression dance, so we engaged in fighting. I quickly realized the obvious. Normal people don't like hanging around dead people. And also that they had bigger numbers, so I ran away. But I ran like a hero. I found the train tunnel and went inside. Romantically touching a corpse opened the way further, and I followed the sounds of terror and unrelenting fear until I got jumped in a doorway by a different kind of romance. I saw a really big drunk guy who couldn't find his car keys. Silly gooseberry. He was in no shape to drive. Also, he couldn't fit in a car. He was f***ing huge. I didn't want to fight him, but he wouldn't take a hint, so I mercilessly beat him into up and then crushed his face with a big club of concrete. Tuesdays. I opened a door to the death of the Splinter Cell franchise. The target came out of the dark bits and grabbed me until I tickled him and he f***ed off. When I woke up, he screamed at me and ran away.
Oh, shit.
Like women do. I told Jacob what happened and he said,
Good. Come on back. There's something else we need your help
all was fine. Until the volatile appeared and chased me, shitting shit poos. This was intense. Like a salad with crabs on it that keep cutting you on the tongue when you attempt the lettuce. I sprinted as fast as my fresh legs could handle towards the exit, as more and more of them kept bursting through the doors and sniffing me on the bottom bits. I ran and I ran, not wanting to look back but knowing I had to when they got too close, because my blue light would give them a nasty burn and get them to piss off for a bit. I jumped over the heads of zombies and my feet hurt a lot because I needed some slippers and a warm bath. But I finally saw the light. I make one step into my freedom, but one of them grabs me without consent. But the stupid bastard touched the light and started burning. Good. Stupid open-mouthed perverts. Stay in the darkness. I get on the radio and tell my friendship about the beast I saw.
It seemed smarter than the others.
But it could not be smarter, possibly, than I be smart. When I left, I heard the screams of a man. I rushed to help him, but accidentally drop-kicked him into a tree. This happens sometimes. He got up and together we bonded by bullying a zomp on his first day of school. The feather thanks me and gives me a knife. Then I start bullying him with my feet. He got defensive, so I kept bullying him, but then he got really defensive. So I hit some of his face with a baseball bat. Now his face looks like somebody tried f***ing a cabbage. And look at that eyeball. disgusting. I kicked him out of the road so cars could still get through. I used the knife that guy gave me to shut up a straightcoat zomp in a pharmacy. Then I choked out the people waiting in the queue because the lines at the pharmacy are a bloody disgrace, and people talk too much about their hump lumps and skin falling off. Hurry the fuck up! I just want my creams and my pills. Why do most people talk in slow motion? I've known what you were going to say for at least 14 seconds. This is a waste of my time. An outrage! I threw a knife at the cashier, but then she gave me angry face, so I cut her head off. Wow, sale! 50% off! I grabbed as much as I could for such a bargain. Not that I was going to pay anyway, I'm just easily manipulated by big white and yellow cars on a red background. I even lockpicked into the closet and choked out their weirdo. He was weird because he was in a closet, and he ate the head off a man. I jogged back to the monastery to tell Olivia the good news about the pharmacy sale, tripping zomps up along the way and kicking them off of a cliff. Then I watched as they just kinda walked off and went splat. How did they manage to take over the world with brains like this? People must dumber be. I walked through some doors and caught Olivia looking at the naughty videos. I gave her a sample of a poo.
Here's your sample.
Then she injected the poo into my arm, and I don't know, maybe I was getting the wrong idea about what was happening. She pointed at a map and I just went, yeah. I found a metal horse nearby and hopped inside. This was so much faster and better than using my feet. It was alarming to me how many people didn't understand the rules of the road though. In particular, get out of my f***ing way. I ran over so many rude people until my fuel ran out and some woman started climbing on my car and getting all upset at me. She was unbelievable and refused to listen to reason, so I opened the door to climb out and fell off of a bridge into water. I looked up and watched as my broom broom did an explosion. I wanted that car. What an awful, awful woman. I swam to a nearby island and looked on at the truck I was supposed to search for stuff and things. Probably more poo. Olivia loves poo. She never stopped talking about poo.
I think they transported that Chimera there.
Poo. See? I jumped into the dirty water and climbed back up towards the truck, kicking zomps in the head and humiliating them as I went. Inside the truck was a big cage with a hole forcefully made into it from the inside to the out. The water bowl was immaculate though. What kind of dog was this? I rolled over a dead person and took his blue book. Inside it told me all about the Chimera they were transporting, and also a great recipe for lasagna.
Olivia, you were right.
Do you think you can track it?
I followed the bloody tracks to a tent made out of blood and guts and bones. Stupid creature didn't even know how to put up the roof of a tent. I swam over to an island coated generously in fog and that feeling you get when you... Out of nowhere, the creature rushed me from the depths of the fog. Terrifying. Long claws, low visibility. I threw fire at her and then beat her with relentless hands and the full power of my gur. She was fast, but I dodged good. My gur was too much for this nuisance. I grabbed her when she tried to escape my big muscles and slammed her around like a sexy meat man, whatever that means. I ripped her leg off, that's what was important. Then I stole her goo and put it inside of me. If I saved up one more goo point, I would actually have control over when I triggered my anger. So I did that. And by doing that, I meant nothing. I did nothing. To celebrate, I stood on a boat. Running back towards trees and stuff, I came across some bad men with a tied up good man. They attacked at me, so I fought back. I was going to help. Yes, me! Help! I sliced them up and threw knives in their heads and saved the day for the poor tied up man, who rewarded me with some dried food. And what's more, I let him go without killing him. Good job, Mr. Weak Impulse Control, but was it a good idea? The sun was getting low. He would not last long alone in the woods after dark. And neither would I. I ran back to the monastery because I couldn't be out in the dark again. It was scary last time and it scared me. I slept on a sofa until morning. My dreams sounded like this. The train now approaching platform 4 is... Ah! When I woke up, Olivia was still on her laptop, photoshopping pictures of seagulls with swords into famous historical images. Where was she getting the seagulls? I went for my morning jog, sliding into zomps as I went along and licking up on ice creams. When I got back to the town hall, I climbed on a man and ate chocolate bars behind their back. in a seductive sort of a way. He opened a door to the sheriff who said the power plant went quiet a month ago.
I sent a squad of rangers to see what was going on, and they never returned.
I offered to help because, of course I did.
Thank you, Kyle. People around here are starting to lose faith.
I guess they don't trust that God is watching out for us anymore.
God is watching out for us. He sent us Kyle.
Silly fools. Stop following a false deity. Wrap yourselves in the loving tentacles of the wizard on the moon and know peace and get money and chocolate.
I hope we didn't just send him to his death.
Wait, what? I traded with a guy in a hole and got sunglasses, which gave me 2% more XP for everything that I did. It was really dark now, though, and I stumbled into a hook and got captured like a fish would. I did a danger strut on the roof outside and was rudely told I cannot kill all the zomps in the woods, so I should run away. What the wee-wee flaps? Do she not know me and my red cloth arms? I did very cool parkour moves across the buildings. Look at me go. Wow, I should be a gold medal, but wait! A playground! It was important that we had to stop and answer one vital question. Does the slide in Dying Like the Beast pass the Moon Wizard slide test? Yes! To celebrate, I drop-kicked somebody into a wall, and then invaded a house and slid the owner's face into a different wall, and then started jumping around again, give me a medal made of gold. I make it to the power plant and start climbing inside, but the man voice tells me to go away because I never get inside. Go away! Maybe he had a point. He even had those spikes on the roof that go up frisky pigeon bums. So anyway, I get inside the building and paint a surprise inside him. I told him I can get stuff working if he radio voices me along. He directed me to the nearby building, but instead I fell into the water and watched as those silly goofy zomps did bad walking and splashes. I find my way to scale the wall and watched as those zomps just kept wanting to learn how to swim. But you can't learn to swim when you're dead. Silly dead boys. I continued my monkey ooh-ah until I reached the window and climbed inside. Success! Not really. Let's keep going. The guy on the radio was very negative and insisted I could never magic the turbines working again, but he had no idea how much the power of positive thinking could accomplish. And murder. I dropped down a dark hole into a room with dead Nope. They were waking up. I fought for my life and took ears and limbs with me. And in a very smart move, I finished the fight by hitting this red thing that definitely booms and making it go boom. Then I paused for a while as the music would just do loud drama noises for no reason sometimes. Maybe a cockroach was doing farting, or a pigeon did put his bum on there. Either way, it seemed pretty calm to me. So I scavenged what I could. I opened a door and another fight ensued. I got charged by a chonk in skin clothing that would obviously blow up in Goo Goo Bang if it got too close. I switched to my handgun unaware of the lack of ammo, but managed to run away just in time to avoid the Goo Goo Boom. I drop-kicked another Goo Goo Boom guy, which was a mistake as he boomed much faster than I expected. Then I opened a metal flap.
Shit. Can't reach the turbines, they're all underwater.
Didn't I just tell you that a moment ago?
Maybe he did, but I wasn't listening. So I had to go and drain the water now. Brilliant. I jump into the feces-infested liquid and swim past lots of floating bodies that I just knew would be angry once the water pissed off. I turned some wheels that went squeaky squeak.
That is working though.
Love that optimistic attitude.
He was not an easy man to talk to, but I needlessly thump a green button and carry some wires around and beep boop button boop, and hey, what do you know? I did it. Bye-bye water. As expected, I was quickly rushed by a mob of bitey chaps, but I bit them first. With bullets. I jumped back into the wet hole and needlessly thumped a very pressable green button, but surprise, surprise, we need to do more work.
Told you. Wasting your time.
You are just a ray of sunshine, you know that?
Lots of soggy chonk zomps down here. I didn't have many bullets or projectiles left, but I used what I could to keep them at a distance. I got to a bit which had a broken bit and then threatened to break the head off the negative man.
Maybe it broke off.
Or maybe you want me to come up there and break your head off?
Then I turned a bit with a bit that would fix the bit, then smacked the green button to turn the power back on.
What the hell? You did it.
Of course I did it, you gelatinous slug.
The Baron shut this plant down for a reason. And he wanted it to stay that way. Yeah, I work for the big man. Did I forget to mention that?
I felt shock now, for it was all a trap, a ruse, a midnight tickling. I get jumped by some evil helmets, then handcuffed, but not in a sexy way.
Move it! I wouldn't push me if I were you. You don't want to piss me off.
I say that Hulk line, but they just keep pushing me.
You're gonna see a really ugly side of me.
Back off.
I turned all beastie and started smashing and tearing heads off.
I told you not to piss me off.
It went well, and now I had new guns and ammo and some shiny from the bags I turned them into on the floor. I also got to kick ahead. Obviously, I had to turn the power back on before I left and maybe find that slug man if I felt like it. I don't know, I was hungry.
And here come more of them.
We do not want a war with the Baron.
I opened doors and started blasting. The game told me I had to clear the place of all the bad guys, but the ones I did kill still had the markers of the alive kind on them. But they didn't look very good at being alive. This was confusing for me. This one didn't even have a head. And this one, well, maybe he was okay. I kept fighting my way up the building as the men kept coming. So many men were coming. I had never seen so many men come. Never mind. I took out the last two attacking on the roof and picked up some lovely bullets as a victory gift. But the markers were still on the corpses I left in the building. What? I went back in to extra check and sliced one man in half and laughed at his ribs, but still, it didn't count. He was technically still alive. And I had no acid. Screw it, I just left anyway and jumped off a building, trusting water would be there. And it was! Fish! I climbed into a brum brum and began driving out. But then the screen flashed up with a 5-second countdown to return to the mission area, and it didn't give me enough time to reverse, and I failed. What in the bubbling tits was this? I respawned and killed the doorman again, and once more. It didn't count. The game was busted and my fun was ruined. What a shame. It was all going so well. Oh, look at that, you made it to the end. That's wonderful. You know what would really be good? If you would subscribe and share videos and turn notifications on, all that kind of... I got that would be amazing. The Moon Wizard would love it. And they would probably give you some kind of power and maybe some new legs that are better than your ones right now. Your legs aren't great. I've been meaning to talk to you. They could be better. They could be good. Moon Wizard bless you. See you next time. Goodbye.